guys, it's your boy Panda here, and welcome back to the channel. In the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, I've played it, I've been through it, I've gone through it, and we're going to give our true, honest-to-God thoughts and reviews on the campaign. Now, we're going to break this down into two categories for you guys, because I know a lot of people are doing like a spoiler-free campaign, and I don't want to just milk it and make two videos on this, so I decided we're going to split this video in half. In the first half of this video is going to be the non-spoiler side and the thoughts and all that, and then the second half is going to be spoiler time. We're going to go into some of the deeper lore of the campaign and the things that happen and kind of just go over it as all. But I will give you guys a definitive time in the video when that's about to happen, so you guys don't just keep watching and suddenly you're like, oh my god, what? This is a spoiler. So let's hop right in. So there was really two sides to this story in a sense when it came to the gameplay. You either loved it or you hated it. There was no in between. And overall, I think gameplay-wise, it looked probably like one of the best campaigns I've ever played. The gameplay was smooth. I had no hiccups, no bugs, no issues. There was really nothing that was wrong, but the gameplay lacked the it factor. It lacked the campaign factor, and there's a few reasons why, and we're going to get into those in a second, but I truly prefer like the linear on the rails action movie just style of gameplay. I enjoy the it takes me on this trip and I kind of follow a play by play, and they really tried to implement these new open campaign style missions, and they were hit or miss for me. There were times that I thought they were really unique and fun, and they still followed that linear style, but there was just a little bit of freedom for the player. But then there was also times that it really felt like Spec Ops, and when I'm playing a campaign, I want it to feel like a movie. I want it to feel like something that's immersing me in it, and I'm just watching it while just giving a little assist to it. And those missions at times just felt like I was doing something on the side. And honestly, I agree with some people saying that those open campaign missions would have been a lot different with a buddy or like a friend. If I could play the campaign with a partner in those situations, I feel like it would have changed the full feel of the game because there's more experience there. Because when it came to just playing the open combat missions, it didn't hit the spot like a normal linear mission would. And when I say a linear experience, I want to say it as like Modern Warfare 2019 was the perfect example of a linear experience. That whole campaign held your hand through everything, but kept you on your toes and had that it factor of every mission was something new that was like, wow, this is crazy. And it was just the definition of a good story that felt like a all-around movie in a game in one. The non-open combat missions in this campaign overall, like the missions that were the linear experience, the riding the rails kind, were great. I thought they were really fun. One of my favorite missions, and this isn't going to be a spoiler because you've probably seen it, was the No Russian and the flashback to Stadium. Those two missions were like very well done. They had a little bit of that it factor that was like, damn, this is crazy. And honestly, the No Russian, I didn't expect it to be of what the No Russian was back in the original Modern Warfare 2. I didn't think they'd go that gruesome, but honestly, if you combine those two missions, it was pretty gruesome, and it was more like realistic in a sense. It was more of like how gruesome war truly could be and how gruesome a leader and terrorist in Makarov could be. And for me, the gameplay was okay, it was decent, but the story for me kind of saved it all. And now, I'm going to say this now, if you did not play Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2, this story will make absolutely no sense to you. And if you didn't follow the lore, you're going to be like, what is going on? This story was definitely tailored to the die-hard story fans, the lore. And the game was very good for those who just followed it. And if you didn't follow like the Warzone lore, the Modern Warfare 2 lore, the Modern Warfare 2019 lore, all of that combined, you're going to be kind of lost. This is the first time we've seen TF141 on their heels forever. Like, it's the first time we've ever seen them playing from behind in a sense. Makarov had the upper hand on them, and I truly agree that this game overall story-wise was much better than Modern Warfare 2 last year. This story was very character progression driven. We learned more and filled the holes of these characters as we went through the entire sequence, and we really built up this bad guy, this demented, strange character inside of Makarov, and that's something that I didn't think they would be able to do well, because the original Makarov is such a demented character, but I think they truly hit the nail on the head with this, because they really made him feel like the villain without much of an introduction. And now let's be honest, most people do not play Call of Duty for the campaign. Now, I'm different than some people. I love multiplayer, I love zombies, but I still love the lore of Call of Duty. That's something that's kept me in Call of Duty for as long as it has, is I just think the story that they're able to tell across multiple modes is so amazing, and it's very creative. And that's something as a content creator, creativity is the number one thing. We are creative in content creation, and I just think the ability for you to take something 4 years ago and turn it into what it is now is amazing, and I give bravo to them because it's unbelievable. All right, spoiler time. Spoiler. If you do not want the entire campaign spoiled right after this, click off the video. Now, if you've played the campaign or you don't care, we are literally about to jump into it right now. Soap dying was the biggest shocker in the campaign that I did not expect. I 100% full-heartedly going into this campaign truly thought Gaz was going to be the one who saw his fate come to an end, because Gaz became Price's right-hand man. Price is still the main character. Price is the foundation of Task Force 141, but Soap was kind of there as just a sergeant. He was just kind of alongside of it, and I have to admit, the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, whether I thought it was lackluster for the last one, I truly think the dynamic between Soap and Ghost building a bond together was something that was definitely, it was making people enjoy it more. It was making people enjoy the character development more. There's always going to be this narrative of characters because of the previous Modern Warfare games. We look at these characters a specific way because of how they were in the original Modern Warfare universe. Now, obviously, this is tailored the same characters in a new universe. Soap wasn't the same as he was. Soap was like the guy back then, and now Soap was just kind of there. But it blew me away, absolutely shocked me when he died. Now, the reason I think so many people are getting mad about this game is because upon Soap's death, Makarov just runs away, and the game is over. Yeah, we get a cutscene where they're releasing the ashes of Soap, but they don't tell us anything else about Makarov. And I think that's frustrating to a lot of people because Call of Duty has never before had something where a major death happens and there isn't some kind of revenge or retribution, or something happens to the person who killed them, or at least there is a next step after that. Usually when something happens, there's a follow-up for COD fans, and this is left on a, I wouldn't even say cliffhanger, I guess that's the way you could do it, but there's no closure for anyone who saw Soap die. It was just gruesome. Soap is dead. He's shot in the head. He's just laying there, and you're like, okay, we gotta kill Makarov. Then the next thing I know, Makarov's gone. There's nothing talking about him being anywhere. He's just in the wind and no one knows why. It's not on par for former COD games. And this goes back to the whole lore thing of if you followed the original story leading up to this point, you're definitely going to be like, I want more, because Makarov being in the wind means that they're setting this up for Modern Warfare 4 to be interpreted in any way they want it to be. Now, we haven't followed a story at all when it came to the original Modern Warfare series. We're still completely off track of that, but there were at least things that lined up of Makarov coming back, Yuri making an appearance in this game, and so on and so forth, that Modern Warfare 4, whenever that does come, could have a crazy story. But I have one theory that we might be going down this road in a second of why we might not go right into Modern Warfare 4. And speaking of Yuri, Yuri came back in the game kind of just as an asset. I didn't want him back as one of Makarov's people. I wanted him back in the campaign, would be cool. I didn't expect him to be there, but he came back as an asset for Laswell. He came back as an informant who was still giving her info directly from the Kremlin rather than one of Makarov's terrorists. So that was cool to see Yuri make a return, and I'm wondering if we'll see other characters like Roach and them come later in the future. So this is where the theory starts to open up, because of the end credit cutscene. If you've never played the previous two games, you probably have no clue why Price's end cutscene makes no sense to you, because Shepard isn't the Shepard we knew in the original games. He isn't as ruthless. All he did was have Graves try to kill Task Force 141, and you can view that the way you did, and Graves was unsuccessful in doing that. But Shepard was killed by Price in the end cutscene, and Price is usually that guy that is very clean-cut, very down-to-earth, and really someone who isn't going to go out of their way to do things behind the book. But that leaves up for interpretation that Price going rogue, are we setting up for a Ghost-style game, off-the-grid kind of 141 being off the radar to hunt Makarov? And there's been a lot of rumors circulating about that and things that could potentially happen. But with the death of Soap and, Ghost and them being up in the wind and Price doing what he did, it would make sense for Task Force 141 to kind of disappear and do what they need to do in the shadow. And that then plays into Graves and Shadow Company and where they might go from there, because we know that Graves betrayed Shepard in the courtroom in the campaign, but Shepard is dead now, so all that's left is Graves. Graves is this PMC for Shadow Company that still has a bounty on his head from the whole Task Force 141, and especially with the death of Soap, I feel like feelings are going to be even more heightened, and we haven't even mentioned Alejandro. Alejandro was best buds with Soap in Modern Warfare 2, and he wasn't even brought up at all, so finding out maybe what he knows, or when he finds out that Soap is dead, I think we're leading up to a potential of an off-the-grid style rogue game, which would be definitely cool, and it would be really cool to see that Ghost narrative come back. Now, that's just my thoughts. That's a lore kind of thing that might not happen, but it's just kind of on par for what I think. But when it comes to my final thoughts on the campaign, and the game was short, why was the game short? I don't know. It truly feels like the game was meant to be a DLC for the Modern Warfare 2 story. Now, you guys might not know, but if you do know on the channel, I'm a firm believer that the game is not a $70 DLC. I hate when it's tailored like that because I think there's a lot of creativity that's gone into this game, and I'm glad to finally have something that is fun to play. I don't care if it's $70 or if it's free. If it's enjoyable and I can make content on it, that's all I care about. Now, I understand from a consumer standpoint why you might be frustrated about that, but that is your own opinion, and you're entitled to that completely. But the campaign overall was 4-ish hours, and it felt like the campaign would have been dialogued into 4 different raid missions that were an hour long each inside of a Modern Warfare 2 game, or of at least a new game that wasn't a full campaign. It was kind of lackluster, and the conclusion is that Makarov is just in the wind and we don't know why. And like I said, that uncertainty of knowing why he's in the wind and having no closure for the death of Soap is why so many people are truly pissed off about it. My final thoughts overall is I give it a 7 out of 10. The story was fantastic to me. The gameplay was really good, but just there wasn't enough of the it factor. And if you didn't keep up with all the lore, you definitely wouldn't enjoy it. But if you kept up with all that lore throughout the year and everything that went on with the Modern Warfare universe through Warzone, through zombies, through the story, anything like that, you probably really enjoyed this game. We are 1 week away from Modern Warfare 3, and that is so exciting for the multiplayer side of things, and I enjoy making videos like this because we don't get to do this more than probably once or twice a year when it comes to lore and story and all that kind of stuff, because we only get one campaign, and I wish the campaign would have been longer, but it wasn't, so we have to live with that, and multiplayer is the next thing up, and then it's Warzone. So I'm so excited. I appreciate all the love and support recently here on the channel. You guys have been amazing. The campaign playthroughs are just going to keep popping up on the channel. Watch them if you'd like. It has my raw reactions and everything while I was playing it. So I love you guys to death. I appreciate you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces, boys.